As you know, it's live. Let's make sure how we're looking. Turn the volume down. Alright. 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 Doing good. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna need your help.
Okay.
Let's do some role playing. I need you when I point to you, I need you to say very enthusiastically, "We are live." You think you could do that?
Sure.
Alright. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
we are live.
There you have it. We are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Call-In Hour. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host with the most, Brother B, and tonight we got a special guest again, Art Bailey, Human Resource Manager. Ladies and gentlemen, last time that Mr. Bailey and I congregated, the stream got cut short, and then the week before last, we were battling Hurricane Ada, so we just been weather, getting our butts kicked. So our internet was down, and we apologize, but we're here tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, if I'm pushing this guy onto this show, it's for a reason, and it's to help us grow as technicians. I strongly urge you to pay attention to today's video. Our guest tonight is Art Bailey. Where can they find you at?
Art@trusthousehr.com is my email, and it's www.trusthousehr.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest, Mr. Art Bailey. Let's go ahead and welcome him. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, Mr. Bailey. Art, please, the floor is yours. Tell the people about yourselves.
Hey folks, it's good to be with you again. I've been in the HR business for a long time, and I've worked with a lot of small companies. And you folks fall into that category, most of you do. And there's a lot of things about employment law that you probably aren't aware of. And there's probably a lot of things about employee documents and other things that you should have in place with your employee files and stuff that are very important. They're legal issues in a lot of ways, and it's just important for you to know. And then as you decide that you might need some help, I'm here to just provide that and try and get your HR side of your business all tight and fixed and the way it should be, so that if INS or the Labor Department gets on your radar and they come and start asking questions, you'll be all set, and you'll be able to say, we're doing the things we're supposed to be doing, best our ability, and we're just trying to be a good business and be honest and be legal, and those are some of the things I can help you with. And that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you for that, by the way. Last time that we were meeting, you and I, we had I was trying to like walk you through an average technician's growth and evolution. And again, there's a lot of different ways guys get into this. There's a lot of different business sizes. There's a lot of different business models out there. That's why we all go into business for ourselves. Sure. But the average guy or gal gets into business by itself, and he or she isn't thinking about HR. He or she is thinking about the technical side. I gotta get out, at least myself.
Sure.
I gotta get out here and I gotta fix people's things, and I can't fail. And I gotta know what I'm doing, and you're focused on that. But then we started, expanding on this technician's role. He starts getting more customers. You start telling your friends about the technician. Your friends start talking. His Yelp reviews are growing. His Google businesses is growing. And now guess what? He's at the point now where he's starting to get overworked. He's starting to crack. He's starting to have slips. He or she says, I need to bring in help.
Right.
Again, there's a lot of misconception out there. Guys think that I don't want to speak for nobody. I'm just gonna merely share some things that I've heard over the years, and you tell me what you think about them.
Sure.
But a lot of guys I hear say they hire subs, myself included. We do, we make sure that they have their own businesses. We make sure that they're registered under their own name, and we hire them as subcontractors. They go out, they do the jobs for us. We pay them a commission. Technically, they're not really our subs. They're their own businesses. We're just subcontracting them.
Sure.
And a lot of times I in particular, have offered that as a business structure simply because I didn't maybe know if this technician would work in my business or if he was going to be there long term. So I didn't know if I wanted to invest in medical and for a retirement package. So with all that out the way, I guess what I'm trying to say is once you reach that level of growth where you got to bring somebody new on, what do you tell guys or gals in my shoes?
Well, I think that's certainly an option, is to use someone that you have learned to know and trust, and see the kind of work that they do. And eventually, as your business grows, you may just decide that's a really kind of good person. They work for us well. They treat our customers well, just the way I'd like them to be. Maybe I should offer them to come in and be a partner. When you do that, then you add things like payroll and the other issues that come with having an employee. Whether you're big enough to offer benefits like health insurance or the other insurances or not, that's another different kind of conversation. But the point that you're making is, how do I know this is the right person to do that?
Yeah, invest all of that into them.
Well, one of the things we talked about last week or the last time we met was, do they fit the kind of culture that I want?
And can you touch on that briefly if you don't mind? The culture.
However it is that you feel best to run your company and deal with your clients, the way you answer your phone calls, the way you have your website set up, the way that you walk into someone's house and treat that homeowner, and work with them in terms of fixing and pricing and timing and all those issues. There's a certain track that you take that you feel comfortable doing, assuming that you're honest about it and that you want to do a good job and you're concerned for the home. Like when you walked into our home, you were very, very respectful. Yeah.
I'm the owner though, so I care a lot.
No, I understand, but that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. That culture.
You were respectful of us.
Yeah. Thank you.
You were very respectful of my wife Pam.
Thank you.
You have a dog. We have a dog. So you connected with Francesca really quick. And then just one thing that you did that really impressed me was when you had to get underneath to get out that circuit board. It would have been maybe easier to just disconnect everything and just pull the machine out.
And tilt it back,
And tilt it back. But what you said at the time was, you have a wood floor.
Yeah.
I don't want to damage the floor. No. That told me a lot about your respect for our home.
Yeah.
The point is, if that's however it is that you treat, in order to expand your company, that needs to be similar.
Across the board.
You can't have 5 guys and gals working for you and you can't trust them, or they come in and they act big shots, or they're not careful. If that's what you want, and I'll tell you, if you don't do that, you're not going to get repeat customers.
Yeah.
You're on my list now for appliance repair forever.
Thank you.
Don't go away. Don't die. Don't get sick. Don't stay around.
I'm trying. Thank you.
Because of that one interaction.
Thank you.
And because we had to order a board, and one came in and it was wrong, so we had to order another one. So it was a week or 10 days or whatever it took to get the thing. But you're always connected with us. You're always telling us what was going on. It came in, it was the right board, it
Yeah.
came in and fixed it in 15 minutes, and we were very pleased with the whole thing.
Thank you.
If that's the kind of reaction that you want from your clients, then you need to make sure that the subcontractors that you get, that you use, are trustable.
Yeah.
Whether you're your employer or not. You need to know that when they're in someone's home, they're going to treat them like you want them to be treated,
Yeah.
like the homeowner wants to be treated. So, using a subcontractor might be a way of finding someone where you're not connected to them.
Yeah.
Once you hire somebody, put them on your payroll, then all of that legal work could get them in payroll and start paying them, paying taxes and all that stuff. And then if 3 weeks later you find out you don't like the person, then you got to fire them and you go through all that mess. So maybe using a subcontractor, even if you believe that your business is growing and you need the additional help all the time, use a subcontractor, find one that you think you might want.
Okay. All right, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
So to make a long story short, use subcontractors to find somebody that you think you really want to have in your company working for you directly before you hire somebody. I think that's a great avenue of doing that.
Tell me what goes. What is technically a subcontractor by the law? How long can I let's say that the guy or gal wants to keep that person as a quote unquote subcontractor indefinitely. Can I do that? What is the legal, like, what is my parameters, my boundaries, what is acceptable, what is within the law of the business and the subcontractor? What is all that entails?
The issue with subcontracting today is how much control do you have over them when they're doing work for you? Really, the issue is control. So do they do what you want them to do, when you want to do it, how you want them to do it, and do you have oversight of that in their process of doing their work? If you can say yes to a bunch of that, then they're your employees.
And I can't get away with that no more.
Well,
they're subcontractors.
I mean, that's the point. That's the point of the law. Is
what is the law though?
Well,
be clear in this definition.
That's it. There's a rule of 21, which the IRS uses, and it's basically here's 21 different things to ask about the relationship between the business and a person saying is a 1099. 1099 is a non-employee, it's someone who you're paying to do something, and then you pay them for that. And at the end of the year, instead of sending them a W-2 as an employee, you send them a 1099, telling the government how much you paid them during the year. So the government says, here's the rules. The IRS says, here's the rules. And if you have too much control over them, when and how and where and why and all that stuff, then they're really your employees. And you need to have them in your payroll system. So you're paying taxes, so they're getting covered by workers' comp and everything else that, that's required.
What kind of penalties am I looking at if I choose not to go with that? I'm only presenting the reality to what's out there.
I will tell you that if the IRS we're not talking about INS now, internalization and naturalization, they're worrying about whether that person can legally work in the United States. That's the I-9 document with the documents. What we're talking about now is, are they really W-2s versus 1099s? If in all cases when there's laws involved, if the federal government agency, whoever that agency, or it could be a state agency as well, thinks that you just don't know and you're trying to do the best you can under the circumstances, and based on what you understand or believe, you're doing the best you can, then they'll say, okay, that's wrong, you shouldn't be doing it that way. They may slap you on the wrist a little bit, and tell you to straighten it out. Put that person in as your employee, you know, and do it right.
Yeah.
If the government thinks that you're doing it because you know the rules, but you're breaking the rules, and you just don't care whether you get caught or you don't think you're going to get caught, now the penalties ratchet up.
Damn.
And they can ratchet up to the point where if they think it's bad enough, they put you in jail. We're not just talking about civil penalties here.
Yeah.
We're talking about breaking federal law.
Oh, okay, well.
Which could end up putting you behind bars for a while. Which probably isn't what you're thinking about.
No. Okay, so thank you, by the way, for making clear what a 1099 is, and a subcontractor and paying them a W-2, the differences between the two. And just to recap, if you've given them a lot of direction, a lot of order, if they're reporting to you, you tell them when to come and go.
And they're doing the work the way you're telling them how to do the work. You're providing tools, even.
No, what if they got their own tools?
Well, everybody's got their own. You know, in the trades, most people have their own tools. But you may indicate certain tools that you prefer they have.
Yeah.
So they go and buy them, but they would maybe not do that unless they were working for you. It's those kinds of control things. They're subtle.
Okay.
I understand that. But if the person is doing exactly what you want them to do, when you want it to do it, how you want it to do it, et cetera, it's hard to get away from the idea that they're probably more an employee than not.
Let's take this time, brother Art, and give a special shout out to some people. I like to say what's going on to Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. Magic 7800. Charged Up Services. Wes Lawson. I see Mr. Bailey back up in the house. Great job, Brandon. Wes Lawson says, reminds me of some of my military years, how that you have discipline, tact, and attention to details. Even though I don't think you've been in the military, you just have one of those ways I like about you. He's probably talking about you because I don't think I've those characters.
I am a military veteran. I'm an Air Force veteran.
Congrats.
I'm actually a veteran of the Vietnam conflict.
Thank you for your service. Listen, and thank you guys for your comments. Okay, so let's talk about now.
Let me answer a question that came up last week,
what was
2
the
weeks
question?
ago.
Please talk about it. What's the question?
Should I make this? We were talking about qualifications of an employee, of bringing someone in as an employee. Is it better to hire someone who has a college degree or someone who has a lot of experience?
Oh yeah, that's a great question.
And I would say that the first thing is back to what I said last time, is that you need to have job descriptions that tell you exactly what that person is supposed to be able to do to you. Do you have a senior technician, a helper, a junior technician? And as you have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 more people working for you, you're going to have different levels of capability.
Yeah.
And you may have certain kinds of appliances that you work on that take someone who's really good.
Yeah.
And you don't want to send a helper to do that.
Yeah.
And you may have some other stuff that's simpler, and you have someone else to do that. You may not charge as much for that, but that person isn't worth as much. You don't pay them as much, but they can do that job.
Yeah.
Or they go and help the senior tech to do their work.
And all of these must be detailed as far as the description.
I'm telling you, if you're growing as a company, you need to know exactly what level of expertise you need to reach the kind of work that you want to work so that people are satisfied with the product that you're providing. So you need to know what that is. And so back to the question. If you have a good job description, that job description may say something like 5 years experience and maybe a certain tech school.
Yeah.
Maybe there's 1 or 2 schools out there that if a person goes through that, they become really, really high level and can do things that are extraordinary.
Yeah.
That the average tech coming in can't do.
Yeah.
Typically in your industry, I doubt that there's a 4-year undergraduate degree.
No.
It would be more of the tech schools.
Yeah.
And some tech schools are 3 days, 3 months.
Yeah.
Some of them are 3 years.
Yep.
And it's all different levels, different types of equipment.
Yep.
And so you would have to determine, are there kinds of learning environments like that, or watching your podcast?
Yeah.
Maybe it's important for a certain level of person in your organization that has to watch 3 of them a week.
Yeah.
And then tell you back what he learned from watching those 3 a week. And now you're creating a learning environment for that employee. And after a while, it will quickly raise their capabilities. Their knowledge increases. I've seen a little bit about some of your, and they look, I'm not a technician, but it looked like it made sense to me, what you were teaching, what the other guys were teaching in it. So the exposure of that's the point of your podcast, is to expose these folks with information and knowledge and techniques that they may not know.
Yeah.
They may not have run across. And maybe they get a new appliance, new kind of appliance, or a new different model of an appliance that has something weird about it. And you happen to have been exposed to that, and you have the information, you put up a podcast, they watch it, they learn, and then they can go out and do it. Maybe what you do is you say so many of those a week, so many of those a month, and if you do that, demonstrate to me you're learning from that, and maybe you raise them up from a junior technician to a senior technician.
Yeah, you incentivize them.
Right, right. Those are ways of doing that.
Yeah.
And they get more experience too. They get another year of experience under their belt and all of that. So you can start identifying levels of technicians within your own organization.
Now, you harp on job description as a major prerequisite. And one of your backgrounds is in employee handbooks. Now, you also harp on the importance of an employee handbook. Let's start at the beginning. For the guy or gal, including myself, that has no idea, please tell me, what is an employee handbook? What should an employee handbook obtain? And what is your recommendation about going about employing one for his or her business?
Okay. Almost all of the employment laws that affect your business don't come into play until you have 3 or more employees. So you as a single practitioner, you don't have to worry about sexual harassment laws or Americans with Disability Act or anything like that. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. Yours is more of the administrative, economic things with accounting and making sure you're paying your taxes, those kinds of things. And once a year, making sure you renew your license with the state. Those kinds of things as a single practitioner, those are things you have to worry about. But as you bring in the 3rd employee, now virtually all of the employment laws are, for instance, the sexual harassment thing. Technically, you're required to have yearly, or at least bi-yearly, training on sexual harassment for your employees.
Really? Even what if they're all male?
That's even more.
Oh, it don't matter, right?
Because your male guys are around homes all the time.
Or they might be into male guys too and might sexually harass them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So what is the sexual harassment training obtain?
Well, it can be an online program where they just watch it and work through it and answer questions. That could be something that could be a couple hours long or whatever. That's not terribly expensive. To for you as a practitioner with 3 or 4 people. You don't want to get into thousands and thousands of dollars every year in training. But you want to at least expose people to good, honest thinking.
Ethics and stuff. Workplace ethics when dealing with that.
Right. So that's just an example. The employee handbook. So at the point that you have enough employees and employee laws affect you or impact you, you need to have certain policies in place, written, so that the employee knows what they are, and that they sign off a document that says, I have received that, and I'm responsible for knowing what's in that list of those. And there's probably 20 to 25 laws that will impact, and some of it depends on if there's some state or local commission or statutes that you need to be aware of as well. And that's my job to let you know what that is.
The floor is yours, please.
So the other side of it is the rest of that document is exactly the thing we talked about before, the culture. How do you want people to act? How do you want them to dress? What they should look like? How do you want them to present themselves when they talk to a customer on the phone or when they're in someone's home? It also tells them when they get paid, what benefits they have or don't have, whether they earn paid days off or paid time off, any benefits like that. All of that is and what hours, what's the typical work hours? I mean, on and on and on and on. All of that stuff has to do with the culture, how you want your organization to run. And by having a handbook, then it becomes consistent to every person. Because you may have 5 people working for you, 3 of them you've known for a while, and you have a good rapport with them. But the other 2 people are okay, but they're kind of quiet, and you don't end up having a lot of conversation with them. They're always out working with somebody else. When are they going to learn to get to know what they need to know to be part of this organization?
By reading that handbook.
It's the handbook.
Yeah.
It's the most important document that you have as an organization.
What kind of, is there penalties associated with not having a handbook?
Not the handbook. It's not having written policies that your employees have signed off on.
What sort of written policy should one have? As an example, I know you spoke about sexual harassment. I know you spoke about job description, hours of operation, the culture. But if you don't have none of these things, can any of this bite you in the butt with the law?
Well, yes. Well, let's say you have an employee that has an affinity to kind of have a wrong kind of conversation with young ladies when they're in homes, because usually if a wife is not working, she's home.
Oh God.
And so you have a 25 or 20 or 30-year-old young lady, maybe with a young child. And I don't want to stereotype, but but
This
someone's
is
going to be
scenario.
aroused. It happens.
Yeah.
And you got a guy that's 30 years old, and he's in there, and he's looking her up and down, and he's having a conversation with her that goes in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she complains to a police officer, or complains to her husband, or complains to,
or she writes you a bad review on Yelp and on Google,
and it gets to the EEOC. Employment, Occupation Commission, and all of a sudden you have the feds, usually through the FBI, are contacting them about that situation, and it could be through the local police as well. And then if they talk to the guys working for you, even if the subcontractor still works, and they believe that there was improper actions that were taken, conversation or whatever. In today's environment, everything is.
Everything.
And it's in the eyes of the receiver of the action, not the person giving.
Right.
You could say you were just having a friendly conversation. If she feels you were coming on to her,
that's it.
It's her word that counts, not yours. So that happens. So the local police department come in, and maybe the FBI, whoever is going to handle this thing, and they say, okay, do you have any policies? You have any written policies?
Well, we talked to Fred and we told him, hey, be nice to customers.
Prove to me that Fred was part of that conversation.
There's no proof. That's it.
You don't have the policy in writing. You don't have a document in writing that he signed, that he agrees and knows about that policy. Now you're complicit.
And here I was just trying to make an extra dollar.
Whatever the penalty can be applied to you as well. Bad enough, both of you can go to jail.
Oh God. Well, hold that thought. Let's read some comments.
Sure.
Lieutenant Lawson says, Mr. Bailey, B is a great interviewer. By the you get finished talking, you would have drank 6 of those bottles of water. Greg B says, what it does, brother B. What's up, Greg B? All right. So, I just wanted to make sure that, the guys were able to interact and stuff. All right.
Of course.
So,
any questions? Or just
you guys got any questions? Any HR questions?
Please type some in.
We'll address them here. All right.
Oh, let me finish.
Please.
The question last week was someone with a college degree or someone with experience?
Yes.
If you have that led us down the road of the job description. If you have a job description and you know exactly now what that person you want to hire, they got to fulfill that. They got to come with most of that.
Yeah.
And in a trade like yours, the person, regardless of what they know, they have to be able to do.
Yeah.
Got to be able to do the work.
Yeah.
So you could have someone with a lot of experience that could be better than someone that just came out of trade school. Because when we talk about a college education, we're not really talking about an undergraduate bachelor's of science degree or an engineering degree necessarily. Excuse me. Because if someone has an engineering degree, they're probably not going to come to work as a technician.
No.
They may, but
they're going to do what they went to school for.
Yeah,
whatever their engineering degrees in.
Right. So, the question was, I think it wasn't so much about having a college degree as maybe having some technical training. Again, you get someone who's been through 6 or 8 months of a technical school. They know a lot of stuff, but they may not have experience out on the street. And I was saying in technical businesses like yours, street experience is vital, and it's really critical. Now, to have street experience and the technical training just adds so much more value to it, for sure.
I want to get back to you now.
Okay.
And I want to redirect the conversation to this handbook.
Okay.
Listen, I'm a business owner, and I'm currently training, and I'm currently in the process of expanding.
Right.
And, I want to create that culture, and I want to have a good handbook. And I know you were saying that, about putting your policies in it, outlining it, but I want to put the employee handbook back to the forefront of the conversation.
Sure.
Is there anything else that we're missing, or services that your company offers, or how can you help my viewers and myself? Do you construct handbooks? It's part
I do handbooks.
It's part of Trust HR to create
Trust House HR.
Trust House HR. Please tell us about it.
I write handbooks and I write job descriptions.
Okay.
And I also audit employee files like I-9s.
Elaborate on those for those who didn't watch last episode's thing.
Okay.
I-9s.
The I-9 is the document that the government requires you to fill out when you hire an employee. It's a document that demonstrates to you and the government that employee, that person can legally work in the United States. So they have to show documents like a travel document or what am I thinking of? Passport, a passport, or driver's license, or social security card, or some kind of government, IDs.
Yeah.
And there's a whole list of them.
Yeah.
There's actually 3 pages of those lists, 2 pages of the list. You have the document and then the pages that tell you which documents you can use. And so that's real critical. And there's a lot of fields on that have to be filled out certain ways. And I will tell you that if they're not filled out correctly and the feds come in and look at those documents and they find things missing or not done correctly on those documents, they could be fines up to $1,000 or more on each item that's not filled out correctly. For instance, the document has to be signed by someone who represents the company, who helps that person, fill that thing out. If that is not signed by someone, that could be a penalty. If you have 100, and just let me give you weird numbers. If you have 100 employees and none of those documents are signed by someone representing the company, and you get hit for $1,000 a person for each one of those documents, everything else could be legal on that document. It could be $100,000 fine.
So it's safe to say that the young men Define men that stand outside of Home Depot aren't favorable. Stand outside of Home Depot aren't favorable candidates that one should employ for subcontractor work.
I can't speak to that.
All right. So I-9s are important. Having job descriptions inside of this manual is important. Having
Job descriptions are separate from the manual.
okay.
The I-9 is a document you put in the file.
Okay.
Employee.
All right, we're back up. All right. Don't you worry, sir. Listen, I gotta do something with my internet, man. It freaking sucks. All right, we're back. We're back live though. Don't worry.
We're back live. It's good to be alive.
Yeah. The good things.
Don't worry. We're back live. It's good to be alive.
Yeah. The good things.
Don't worry.
The good thing is that at the end this replays, so people will be able to come in and watch.
Sure.
All right. Thanks.
So back to the handbook.
Yeah. No. Well, but can we talk about the you were saying man, we were speaking about something so pivotal about the medical.
Oh, the medical.
Yeah. How now because somebody sends you a text and says I'm not feeling good, I have to store that information.
Not that it's not feeling good, but just anything about going to a doctor or anything that's actually medically wrong with them.
Yeah.
That's protected information.
Is that a law?
Federal law.
Oh. Okay. So, please, if somebody tells me, help me out here. So, what is the law? What does the law say I have to do?
If someone sends you an email,
yeah,
and says I need to go to the doctor,
yeah,
that's protected information.
Okay, and I have to. How do I process that information according to the law?
Well, you can keep electronic files
Okay.
for each of your employees.
Okay.
And you just store that email in an electronic file.
Okay.
Under the employees. Now, being that you're the only one that's going to have access to all of that.
Okay. You said I had to tell the other guys?
You don't have to tell.
I don't have to tell nobody.
You don't want to tell anybody else.
Don't want to tell nobody. John
just had to leave. They'll be back at 3:00.
No problem.
No problem.
Okay. What if one of your guys has corona? Do you have to tell the rest? I would, just ethically, but forget about corona. Maybe that's a poor example.
No.
Let's say
no, you can't.
You can't tell.
They can, but you can't.
You can't. Okay. You can't be like, hey, stay away from that guy. That guy may be a little.
Well, you need to separate him.
That's true.
If the guy comes back positive, you need to get rid of him for 10 days.
All right.
He can't be around your people or your customers for 10 days.
Okay.
And until he comes back with 2 negative tests.
It has to be 2 negative tests?
Yes.
Wow. Where do you learn? How do I stay abreast to these rules? That's where Trust House HR comes in.
You talk to someone like me.
Okay. In your career, what has your company done to help businesses like mine? How can your business help me and help my view?
Well, the first is to have these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
So that
you can see the ignorance in me. I don't have all the answers.
So so at least you're aware of things that you could be liable for. There's a lot of risk here that you can eliminate. You can easily eliminate by having good files, have good I-9s and all the documents for that, having it written somehow the employment laws that apply. Again, if you have 3 or more employees, that's important. Then the other is, and because of that, with the employment law policies, that will cover all the things that you could get in trouble legally, because you're covering yourself with things like discrimination.
Oh, that's
harassment.
another one too.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, there's like.
You would think half of this stuff is a given. Apparently not, huh? So discrimination is another training that I have to do as well. Oh my God.
Well, you can do that at the same time you do harassment.
And this all must be documented in the handbook.
The the policy needs to be in the handbook.
Mm-hmm.
The training is done outside of the handbook, but you keep track of someone going through the training. So they have some, here's the day. If you do them all together, just have them all sign a document that they went through the training, and have them each sign it and put their name in and sign it and date the thing and put a copy of that in each of their files. You want to have a record that they went through this stuff. Again, the feds or the states come in and say, there's a harassment issue here or a discrimination issue here. What have you done to help your employees not do that or to protect your organization? Well, we had this training on November 13th, 2020. And here's the document that said everybody went through it. Here's what it was about. And here's where everybody signed off.
Do you see stuff like this go to court?
Yeah.
All the time, huh?
Enough.
And people probably...
Let me tell you just about the I-9s.
Go ahead.
Just about the I-9s.
Yeah.
Whether someone can legally work in the United States. About 5 years ago, the INS, maybe it was it was the INS. They added about 15,000 field investigators just to chase I-9s around the country. Half of them ended up in Florida. And half of them ended up in South Florida.
Oh my God. That don't sound good for me. But you said we can look up the I-9s and online and they can fill them up.
Oh yeah,
themselves.
yeah. If you go online, go to the IRS website. Don't get a third party. Get the IRS, and you can get it. And you can just fill it out on the screen even, or you can print it off and fill it out by hand. Either way.
Let me ask you another question. A guy like myself walks into your office and says, Art, I'm a mess, top to bottom. I'm a technician, but I'm also a business owner. And I want to protect myself and sleep good. How can you help me?
First thing I ask you is, what's keeping you from not sleeping at night? What specifically is keeping you from not sleeping at night? Because I don't know what a mess means.
Not knowing what I don't know. Not knowing. Ignorance. That's it right there. Ignorance. That's the word. I didn't grow up like that. I had like a family that would tell me like, okay, this is how you do a business. No, I just did appliance repair. I'm good at it. And now I'm growing to a point where I need more guys. I find guys on the street, or this guy knows a guy that knows a guy. Right. They talk to me. I tell them, hey, you got your own stuff. We work something out, and off they go. No lie.
Okay, that's typical.
But that's
very
not.
typical.
But that's not to say that that's where I want to stay, and that's where I want to, plateau at. I want to be professional all the way around.
Well, the first things I would ask you are you registered with the state? Do you have all of your legal business documents in place?
Yes.
Secondly, do you have an accountant that's helping you with or are you doing your own QuickBooks stuff?
Yeah, entering it myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so far, and how many years have you been doing that?
Nah, for a little bit now. A few.
Couple years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so far, you haven't had the IRS come back on you?
No. But let's change the subject because I don't want to talk about that. Me and money don't mix on this channel.
Okay. So,
I'm a poor man.
No,
I don't make it.
So this is how I'm going to ask those questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, do you have any employees?
No, subcontractors.
Okay, you're using subcontractors.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me how you're using those subcontractors.
Like I said,
how do you engage them?
Guys that like doing their own stuff, but maybe they don't have the work volume I have, and maybe they're looking for pickup work, and maybe I deliver that pickup work for them, and maybe I deliver it so often and so steady that they don't see it necessary for them to continue marketing, and they see that my strategies work and they want to be here and I want them here, but I don't want to take on all the responsibilities of this, that, and the third. I like the autonomy that they have, that they can be independent and I could be independent, and if the relationship don't work, We both part ways, and that's it.
Okay. One other criteria.
Yeah.
If the majority of their income comes from you,
All of their most likely, yeah.
then they're your employee.
They don't make.
They do not have the freedom.
Yeah.
On Thursday to go work for somewhere else or work for someone else.
I mean, technically they can, but they probably won't.
But they don't.
They will leave me in a bad predicament, and that won't favor them.
So you're controlling their time.
Technically, yes, I am. No lie, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. That's what I'm having you here for, to get myself better and to get my subscribers better. So what do you do then? Okay, that's my situation. What now? That's where we're at. How you gonna help me?
Okay. Again, do you have other? If you don't have employees, well, if you
I don't have no
if you have
employees.
subs,
yes,
then we're going to talk a lot about
the subs.
Exactly how their relationship is with you.
Yeah, completely according to the law and what you saying, a mess. Great guys, they know how to fix stuff. Great attitudes, I love them to death. Okay. But nah, they're not my employees.
Okay. So after we have that long conversation,
yeah,
then we have to make a decision.
Okay, to bring them on board now.
Bring them on board.
Yeah,
and get legal about it.
Let's get legal. Okay, let's go through that now.
Now you got to tell them that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you've got to bring them on, and the thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to demonstrate that they can legally work in the United States, because they're going to have to fill out an I-9.
Man, you harp on that a lot. I-9 is the word of the day. I-9. Okay.
And you need to have an application.
Oh, like a work application?
Like a work application, and have them all fill it out. Because I'll tell you what, a resume is just a resume. But when they fill out an application, the application now becomes a legal document.
Do you offer that as that service?
Yeah.
So it's safe to say the Trust House HR, you guys take a business like myself that's a mess. And let's be clear what I mean by that. We'll go to your house and get you all squared away. But it's the back end.
Right.
It's the crossing the T's and dotting the I's that a lot of small business owners go through. And again, it's ignorance. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So Trust House HR, you have this conversation with small business, you bring them on, you legitimize them, you create for them the manual, the employee handbook, applications. It's safe to say
and job description forms.
You create the job descriptions.
Fill those out. Make sure they reflect what you want the person to do when they're out working for you.
And again, all of this protects you from a litigation, because if you say, I have a technician, and the guy's like, oh, this guy wants me to do this and that, and I didn't sign up for this. You say, no, you technically did. This is what you say you do.
Primarily, all of having this in place, the job descriptions and good policies and the handbook that has all of the things about your culture, is actually helpful to you so that your business runs smoother. It runs more consistent. So people are doing pretty much what and how you want them to do it when they're out working for you, and you're not sitting over their shoulder.
Yeah.
So it helps to standardize behavior and expectations within your organization. And all that's important, because again, you want the person that you've hired out there representing you. They're just not out doing their thing. They're representing your company. So you want that to be as consistent as possible. So you do that with writing the culture in the handbook, and then they agree to that, and you have conversations about that. When you bring a new employee in, you take your handbook and you go through it, not word for word, but the essence of it.
The gist.
Yeah. And you have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And if you got a handbook most handbooks are 35, 40 pages long.
Yeah.
And you kind of go through it. It might be a 2 or 3 hour, conversation.
Yeah.
And then talk to them additionally about how you want, how you're going to get the jobs to them, how you're going to communicate. All that's some of that's inside the handbook, but that could be outside the handbook as well, so that they know how you're going to collaborate together on the work.
Yeah. I want to tell you a confession, but don't beat me up. I
was in the Air Force. I wasn't in the Marines, so I won't hit you.
I was a young guy one time, right? And this was many moons ago. Now I'm an old dinosaur.
Now you're old dinosaur.
Yeah. But I used to be a young spring chicken at one point. And I had technicians that were older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, like, don't laugh at me, but I wanted to, like, quote unquote be looked at like, cool boss. Like, Brandon's a cool boss to be a part of, because I had, like, forgive my French, but, like, dickhead, I'm sorry, but, like, bosses. And I made a vow to myself, like, I never want to be a boss like that.
Sure.
And it was Cinco de Mayo, and we had a bottle of, like, liquor, because most times, like, I'm in my office, which is here, and techs will come in, grab parts, get a check from me, deliver a check to me, drop off money that they owe me, or pick up a part, or they have to do training. And it just so happened that on Cinco de Mayo, I had a bottle of just my personal liquor, and they were like, "Hey man, it's Cinco de Mayo, man." And I was like, in the spirit of just, like I said, wanting to be a cool boss, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's true. Hey, grab 2 glasses." And, like, I poured me and my techs drinks, and we both had a shot, right? All of us. And we all went on about our day. And I had told that to an older mentor of mine. And man, he chewed me up. He was like, "You don't understand what kind of liability you could get in if they leave your establishment and they get in an accident and this and that." And like,
you own that.
I won't make that mistake no more. But
like you guys all like to have Christmas parties and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You need to be really careful about the liquor part of it. You need to really be very careful. Someone gets all liquored up and they go out and have an accident. It's on you. It is on you. So here's one of the ways of doing it. If you have enough people, go to some place that can set a bar off to the side and have them pay for the liquor themselves.
That's true, yeah.
And you don't serve liquor with the meal.
Yeah, that's true. Damn, that's the little nuances that I don't
have them pay for it themselves.
Mr. Bailey, my podcasts are limited to an hour, but I feel like I could learn from you an abundance and a plethora of things. I've already had you on 2 times. And I personally see the benefit of having to have services. And I know that if anyone viewing this wants to, like, legitimize themselves and be, all the way, quote unquote, by the book, how can we reach you? What can you help us with? How can you take a small business, get it in a straight and narrow path, and leave the customers, leave my viewers with some final words on how we can get back a hold of you. And if y'all want to see Mr. Bailey again, right now I'm gonna make a challenge. If we get 100 thumbs up, I'll bring him on for part 3. So would you mind that if we bring you on for part 3?
Absolutely. I think this is exciting for me, because it's a way of helping all of you folks that don't have access to someone like me.
Yeah.
If I'm working in an organization, a large organization that has me as a senior HR professional working for them, my salary would be about $140,000 a year.
Yeah.
So to have access to someone like me, I mean, look, we've been talking for, well, it was a half an hour last time. I don't know how long this one is. But you've gotten
free game,
30 years of experience here,
for free.
For free, for now.
Yeah,
and that's fine. It's, if you need help with documents, the I-9 or job descriptions or handbooks and employee files, all of that I can help you with.
What's your website?
www.trusthousehr.com.
Okay, and how in your business, how do you go about helping small businesses out like myself and
Well, I think you contact me. Now you can contact me through that website.
Yeah.
You go to a page now where it says contact.
Yeah.
And that's gonna give an email back to me.
Yeah.
And my email is art@trusthousehr.com.
Okay.
So I would say if you went to the website, you would probably see a lot of stuff there that doesn't apply to a small business. There's a lot of stuff there that applies to large corporations because I work with them too.
Yeah.
But it might give you a breadth of, understand the breadth of where I come from.
Yeah.
And the things that I have done along the way and are capable of doing now. If you want to just contact me directly, just send me an email.
Yeah. And that's at art@trusthouse.com.
Trusthousehr.com.
Thank you for clarifying that. Art, go ahead and please one more time. Hold on. TrustHouseHR.com. Cool. Okay, listen. I'm not gonna let you get out of here so quick. I'm sorry, but you're I value the knowledge that you come with, and I see the ineptitude and like how behind I am with my business, and I want to get it all the way legitimized across the board. Mm-hmm. And again, you were describing how a company can reach out to you and how you can help a company, and you were going through some of those things. You were saying definitely with the employee handbook, definitely with the description, and I think you didn't finish. Please, what other services can you offer small businesses like myself in order to get their HR stuff in order?
Well, if you get to the point where you want to develop your organization and you think you want to grow it, mm-hmm. I can help with conversations about that. We can spend an hour or two and see how we can strategize for what you want to do and how. And now again, I'm not a technician, but I know business. I know business well.
Yeah.
I've been a senior executive in 3 different corporations, large corporations, and I've owned 2 businesses, and this last one that I have now is about 16 years old. And I just if I showed you my list of clients over the years, it's extensive, and it's a lot of nonprofits, it's a lot of small businesses. I've done a lot of work with construction companies, plumbing company, a number of contracting companies, and some of them very small.
Yeah.
And some of them very large.
Yeah.
I'm helping a company right now that has 40 employees, and they do technical stuff, and they're really, really good at it. And we're working on their strategic plan because they do about $15 million a year in business. We want to double that. We want to double that within the next 2 or 3 years. And so I'm working with them on a strategic level.
Yeah.
As well as handbooks and job descriptions. Yeah. We're writing a series of job descriptions for them because now they have different tiers of employees.
Yeah.
They have project managers, and they have supervisors. They have lead technicians. They call them mechanics.
Yeah.
And they have junior technicians, mechanics.
Yeah.
And they have helpers. Those are just the field people.
Yeah.
Not counting their salespeople. There are other folks that do. Well, they have an accounting person for sure. They have people that do the estimates for for the projects. So they have a number of different administrative people as well.
Yeah.
That's part of the organization. So we're writing job descriptions. I've already done their handbook. I've audited all their I-9s and found a problem on almost every one of them.
And that's $1,000.
Could be.
That you saved them.
Well, I probably saved them about $90,000.
Oh. Oh.
In penalties.
That's a lot of sealed system jobs I gotta do. Which that's a particular job that the guys in my line do, which is like our bread and butter. Like when we do the compressor replacements and stuff. Okay. That's like hardcore refrigeration, but like that's when you really make like your most. So to cover something like 90 grand, you'd be doing about a lot of sealed system
More
jobs.
than 3 or 4.
That's for sure. About 90 of them, 90.
Folks, this isn't to scare you.
Yeah, no,
This
but
is
you
not
got
the
to though.
intention to
No, Art, I beg to differ. I think we did need a little bit of a wake up. I think that it is easy to get complacent. And I think that, like, Art, my guys are like me. Professionals, man. Anyone who subscribes to me subscribes to the idea of appliance repair at its most professional level. Even if I'm not the embodiment of it, because I'm trying to get there. I bring people like you on who are to help us become that.
I appreciate that. I will tell you that the videos that I've seen that you've done are as well done as most of the stuff that I've seen from manufacturers.
Oh man, right now you're just trying to get me to take you to dinner and lunch.
No, I'm telling you, it's really detailed.
Thank you.
Because sometimes I am technically confident.
Yeah.
If you walked into my garage, you would think you're walking into Home Depot.
Well, you did your own dishwasher, I believe. I think you called me with like the details, like, look, I did this, I did that, this is what's going on, and I was like, damn.
At that point, I knew it was a circuit board.
You just did it when I wanted to be 100% sure.
There's nothing in building a house I don't do.
Good for you.
Okay, roofing, sheetrock, studding, electric, plumbing, tile work, flooring. It doesn't matter. And I have all the tools.
Look at you. And HR on the side.
Well, HR is a professional.
HR is full time. It's the other one.
I do the other things because I just like doing it.
Hey man, so you too are a technician at heart, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the point is, I really appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you, man.
I understand the quality and the professionalism that you brought to our house.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that most of you guys, if not all of you guys, are, because you're connected here, are in the same boat.
Yeah.
And that all of you want to be the best you can be.
Yeah, definitely.
And that brings more customers. Repeat customers, as you know, in your business, in most businesses, repeat customers are really important. And that doesn't mean that their dishwasher is going to break again in 2 months.
No.
But they got refrigerators, and they got washers, they get dryers, they have other documents, or they have other, appliances around.
Yeah.
So if we had like our refrigerator go bad, or the range, or something happens with it, I'm just going to call you.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to do that now because of the one interaction.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of interactions that professional people that have everything together get repeat customers from.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there I have it, man. I hope y'all took in today's guest all his words to heart. I know I did. It was a wake-up call. It's an eye-opener onto how much more I have to professionalize my business. And Art, I know that if I have any questions, I know who to go to now. And I'm sure that the YouTube community knows. If we have any HR problems, any questions, we can find you at trusthr.com. And if we need to email you, we can email you at art@trusthousehr.com.
That you can.
You have anything you want to leave the community with?
I'm fine with answering, just a question or two. If it gets very complicated, then we may need to talk about some hours. And the handbook and the, auditing your I-9s or employee file stuff, that's going to come with some cost. But I guarantee you, it will be absolutely worth your time and worth your money. You won't be disappointed with any product or service that you receive from me. Guaranteed.
You should do a YouTube channel, man. All this knowledge you have.
I'm doing a YouTube thing.
You have a YouTube channel?
I'm on it right now.
No, come on. I mean, your own channel. I was gonna say, guys, follow this guy. But man, your message needs to be heard, man. And thank you for being on the show, man. From the bottom of my heart. I'm glad I met you, man. And to my platform, y'all know that I don't promote fakeness. You guys been following me since when I was riding in my vehicle all the way till now. You know, I don't promote nothing goofy. And if I have this gentleman on, it's because I see the value in him and profession and, you know, being a professional business owner. That's why I saw him fit to come on tonight's show. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Again, if you're watching this at a future date, please leave questions in the comments section. Revisit this video from time to time.
Yeah, are there anything more there?
Maybe Mr. R can put out a basic plan that we can get to start for a certain amount across the board. All of us here do the same line of work.
You mean like a handbook? Is that what we're talking about?
I believe, I don't know what he means by that, but what I interpret is that like when he says put out a basic plan, I would say something like detailed, like, okay, these are the prerequisites that you need just to get started in your business. Job responsibilities, I-9s, like a checklist, you know, of some sort. Like all small businesses need this following checklist. And I'm sure that your business offers that.
Can he clarify that more?
Home Tech, do you mind clarifying that? I please. But
I'll be happy to respond to that in a way that would help.
Yeah. A basic business plan to have the basics in order.
Okay. My expertise is in HR, but obviously we talked a little bit about all the things you need to have in a business.
Yeah.
You can also go to the Small Business Administration, the SBA.
Yeah. .gov, right?
Huh?
SBA.gov, right?
Yeah. And they can give you, a format for a strategic plan, whatever. I'm not saying I won't do that. I'm just saying that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They give you a format for a strategic plan, and all you have to do is answer questions.
I don't know if I'm speaking for Home Tech, but I'm speaking for me, and I think I know what he's saying. Like for example, Brandon, you're gonna start your own business. That's fine, but listen, here's what you need. You need to have all outlined so we can say, holy cow, we got a lot of stuff to do, and then we can go about doing it. What I'm asking you is that if we come to you and we sit down and like you and I were role playing,
right,
and we have those questions, you can kind of put together a plan to get us in the right direction.
Yeah, it would be more individual.
Yeah. According to,
although he's looking for something generic for everybody.
Yeah.
I would just say that I'd love to have that conversation. I think the format for that is SBA has already done it.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Okay.
Now it's going to ask you a lot of questions. I can help you respond to those questions.
Yeah.
And then as it generates thoughts about how you are doing your business, I'd be very happy to be in the middle of that conversation.
Okay.
I just know they've done such great work, and that's what they're in business for.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the strategic plan of your entire organization, your entire business.
Yeah.
The accounting side of it, the financial side of it, the legal side of it, with all the documents. With the state, you've got to register as a corporation and all the kind of things. I know that you need to do that. I don't know what those documents are other than going on, myflorida.com looking for them.
Yeah. Or whatever state they call.
Or whatever state you're calling from.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know how to find all that info, right?
Every state, all you have to go to your state's administrative site. And I know Florida's got maybe the best one in the country. It's leading the charge, but every state has all that stuff online now. Like if you need to incorporate you can go to the state website, find out how to do that.
What's Florida's state website?
myflorida.com.
Okay, so as they can what is it? Give it to me again.
MyFlorida, www.myflorida.com.
And they can kind of use this as a template.
Well, what you're going to find there is if you're going to incorporate, they'll tell you how to do that.
Okay.
You have to be incorporated. You can't. Now, you could do it as an LLC. It's a little different, but it's still a corporation. The difference between an LLC, the thing, and my business is an LLC. The difference is that the plus and minus financially at the end of the year rolls over to your personal income tax.
Mm.
So if you gain money during the year, that'll come in as taxable income on your personal income tax.
Mm.
If you don't want to do that, then just be incorporated and just keep that as a separate entity from your personal taxes. Again, I'm not a tax guy. If you need to go see an accountant,
Yeah,
to determine which way you want to do with that.
Yeah.
But you should be incorporated. Incorporation protects you. It protects your private, personal assets.
so just being a DBA with a good insurance plan isn't enough.
It costs you $125 in the state of Florida to be incorporated, or $200 depending on what you add to it. And that protects you from someone taking your house and your cars away if you get sued.
I think that's a well spent $200.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Again, I want to thank you for being on the show. You have anything else? I don't want to cut you off.
Now, I think for now, I think we need to come back and we can talk some more details and stuff. If we did a handbook, the way I do the handbook is, I know what the laws are. I know what the employment laws are that you need to deal with. And then I have a question set of about 55 questions that I would have you fill out.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I would write the rest of the document. And that's how we would engage for a handbook.
Okay. Well, there y'all have it, ladies. Wait.
Some more people ready.
Home Tech wants to know, is a INC, an incorporation, better than an LLC?
You really need an accountant to tell you the difference. I chose to do an LLC because I had personal income and business income, because I was doing W-2 with a large company at the same time. And I had the LLC, I was getting, payment that way, or money that way. So it all made sense for me to do an LLC. But I would say that if you have a home, again, I'm not an accountant. That really is a question for an accountant.
I appreciate you knowing your limit, because you're like me. I go up to a certain point, and I don't act like I know it all, because I don't want to give a guy bad game. And there you go, man. But brother Home Tech, thanks for your questions. And again, watch this video of the week. I'm sure guys will leave questions in the comment section. Guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Apology for tonight's glitches. YouTube try to keep us down, but not me and Art. We're strong guys, and we're gonna give you guys the info you guys need. With all that said, ladies and gentlemen, Art, again, thank you. You could have been anywhere in the world, man, but you spoke to, YouTube's finest appliance repair audience.
That's apparently true.
And we appreciate having you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure being here.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host with the most, Brother B. And you can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me and Art. And I appreciate that. Love you guys. Love, peace, and harmony. Have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys. All right. We did it, man. Thank you, Art.
Awesome.
You're the man.
It was a good evening.
It was. Thank you. Well, good.